we all know that Joe Satriani is a god and an innovator in music and guitar. So, but what is it so specifically? What are the things that make Joe Satriani just so good? Hey, my friends, this is Saint Luminous. I want to thank you for joining me today and my dead lava lamp. So let's talk about our friend Joe Satriani. Really, I can make hours of videos on what makes him so good. Why is he so good? So I'm going to narrow our focus a little bit today, and I'm going to talk about one song. Always with me, always with you. You know, if you're a Satriani fan, I mean, you've heard it a billion times, maybe even a billion and one. And you know what? That's kind of his ballad, but there's so many interesting little Joeisms there, Satchisms, that I think are so neat. Okay, so let's start with the middle of the song, somewhere around the middle of the song. Joe does a tapping part that, you know, you would think that kind of a flashy part he would save at the end, but he doesn't. So composition-wise, that's interesting. But the tapping part itself is so unique, and I think to this day it is still a very unique thing. So let me play it for you so you guys know what I'm talking about. Well, we just fucked that up. Let's try it again. All right, it ends it with some double stop action. Awesome. So, first of all, it's the tonality. The whole thing is strictly in Ionian or major. And that's just something that's unusual because, look, the 80s were full of tapping. Everybody was a tapping mofo. And even up to today, people, you know, guitar players still need to tap. And we all know that it became popular for guitar because of Eddie Van Halen. Eddie Van Halen had a lot of delicious notes, but it was based a lot on the blues and rock. And Joe does something to, and by the way, even up to today, most guitar players, you know, more well known, you know, they might play blues rock. That's always it. Blues and rock, and they do tapping stuff, and a lot of heavy metal bands. Just, you know, strictly in minor, maybe Phrygian and whatever. But Joe does something different here. He plays strictly in major or Ionian. And, you know, maybe we'll do a video about that, about Ionian. But right now, let's stick to it. It's all in major. That's why it has such a bubbly, happy sound. It doesn't sound evil, doesn't sound sad. It's very uplifting because that's what a major key does. And Joe really exploits this to give you this happiness, and it's so funky for a rock guy tapping, and it's all in major. I think that is so cool. That is amazing. The next thing that makes it so interesting is that the whole song is in 3/4. So we call that, you know, a waltz beat, and because of the way it feels. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And, you know, you can imagine a couple bouncing around 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And that's the whole feeling. So it's very different and unusual because, you know, a lot of rock music is in 4/4. But Joe does this in 3/4. So now he taps something, this long, long phrase in 3/4. So that's already off kilter to what we're used to. But he's also doing it in 16th notes in 3/4. So, you know, you guys might know that when you play in 16th notes, you divide up the beat into 4 little parts that we usually say 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a, although I'm doing it in 4/4, Joe does it in 3. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a. So that also makes it so kind of weird because he's playing all these 16th notes all together, but in 3/4. And he never accents the same parts with that. The notes, the accent almost falls on a different part. So it makes this thing kind of, to my ears, kind of float around and just leave you in this like dreamy, happy state. So unusual and so amazing for our rock guy to do. All right, so what else makes Joe Satriani so damn good? It's how he follows the chords. All right, so a lot of you guys, especially if you're the type of musician who just strictly relies on playing patterns, it's impossible to phrase and do things like Joe Satriani if you don't understand the chords that are playing underneath. Now, Joe keeps it really simple, right? You would think that a guy like that is going to write these most extravagant chord changes, and he's not. Okay, so for that happy part of the song, well, the main melody, it just goes 1 chord to 4 chord to 5 chord back to the 1 chord. That all this fancy stuff that you're hearing him do. Oh, no, I forgot. He does it like this. Oh, yeah. So that's all, I start with the 1 chord, 4 chord. Let me go over them. So it's a really funky, great sound, but really it's a B major chord. And then this little funky thing with the open string, which I love. Okay, it's just a very fancy E major 4 chord. And then at the end, right, the 5 chord, except Joe, of course, does it with his thumb and so he does some really neat stuff on there. But basically, yeah, B to E to F sharp. All major chords, so the whole thing is very happy. Now watch what happens. Look, watch how he follows the chords. That's what makes it so cool, because Joe is following the chords. Check it out. Okay, so it starts with this. I'm just going to play a B major. No fancy stuff. So you get the idea. So you can even sing it. Yeah, it works. I could even see it on the fretboard why it works. Because look, when I play this big B major chord, look, I'm playing this note. So when Joe plays the end of his phrase, right, it's part of the B major. Oh, no wonder it sounds so good, right? It's because Joe follows the chords. Let's see what happens after this. Then it moves to here. Okay, but why does that work so well? Well, because he's playing the next chord, which is an E. So the note is a G sharp, but maybe you guys might know this bar chord of an E. Right? So I'll play the E, an E note. It just works. There's a reason why it works, because he's matching the chord and it sounds so amazing. It sounds like it's going somewhere, just not random notes. That's what makes it so awesome. So he's playing along. And ends with that note, right? So it's a C sharp. But look at this. Let's go to our bar chord. Remember, he changes chords down to this F sharp. Right? When I play that bar chord, that's one of the notes. No wonder it sounds so good. So let me do it one more time. Here's the B. We could sing it. B, goes up to the next note. There's the E. Right? So a lot of players do this. The really good melodic players do this. But, Joe is not doing something new by following the chords. That's what most really good players do. But I have to point this out because it's part of what makes him so fucking good is he really knows how to follow the chords and just make them just come alive, this melody come alive because he's following the chords. Yeah, what else was I going to talk about with Joe Satriani? There was something in there. I know what it is. Dynamics. Oh my God. So the biggest thing that you ever hear from rock guys is they crank up the gain and So that way, when they play their, when they play their notes, they've got these long sustaining notes. It sounds heavy as hell, and it's in your face. And Joe Satriani, a lot of people don't recognize this about him, but he knows how to use dynamics. So I'm going to play you the part and show off the dynamics in this song, what he does. Because I was listening to it today, and I'm like, gosh, I mean, I know he does that. It's just it's amazing that during all the shred of this guy is playing with the dynamics of the song. And I'll tell you the part he does. I'm going to play it for you. He does it at the part where the sad section, where you feel like crying, the B minor section suddenly goes into the B major section. That transition he makes is just awesome because the dynamics just come so slow. He just fairly slowly walks in to start the melody again. So let me play it for you. So he's in the minor part, right? And he's making this loud. Okay, now it's the happy sound coming in. Okay, so you heard what happened, right? I played it very softly. It's just sort of... I haven't really studied whether Joe picks it or does he do a little hammer-on like I did. I like to do the hammer-on. But after that little thing, then he, brings it home. So playing with the dynamics on his guitar, really that's reserved for only the best of the best. A lot of blues guys, I mean, they've been doing that for years and years. Albert King and I believe Santana does, they play with the volume to get those different dynamics. And here is Guy, that we consider like the shred king, but don't take the time to know, dude, look how he's changing up music. This is how innovative he is. He is kind of, oh boy, he's kind of a shred guy, but he's playing with the dynamics like those really good melodic players. So there you go. My friends, thank you so much for joining me on this journey to find out why is Joe Satriani just so fucking good. I'll probably do more videos on this as well as some other players because I think it's so fascinating, the little things that make these guys so good, that it's more than just playing fast or with, the right amp or whatever. There's all these little cool things going on that I think we should notice. Hey, you guys, you know what? If you're new, go ahead and subscribe down below. If you want to see more videos like that, you could check out my other content. And brand new, you can also find me on Twitch because I'm going to start doing that so we could actually have a real conversation about these things, which is just I would love to do. I love doing that, talking about these things and playing them and trying them. Thanks for joining me, you guys. See you soon.